This is Elle Latham for sci-fi4me.com. So, Rene, tell me a little bit how you got into the industry.
I was a very bad history teacher in downtown LA, and then I found out that I was a pretty good improviser by studying at the Upright Citizens Brigade. And my initial intention was to be an actor, and then as I went along in the program at Upright Citizens Brigade, I learned that for every acting job there were 8 writing jobs. So learn to write if you want to work. So I learned how to write. I bought a book. I bought one of those formula books and learned how to write with my writing partner, and then that's how I got my first manager and my first job.
That's great.
Yeah.
So a little bit about the writing process on Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, how it works, and the collaborative nature.
Very collaborative. We break stories as a group. We then turn those stories into outlines as a group. And then that outline will be taken off by a single writer for a week, and that writer will turn that outline into a draft. And then once that draft is finished, it returns to the room, and and then it becomes again a collective writing process where the original writer of the first draft is sort of captain of the soul team. It's remember, the spirit of the story is this. Remember, we promised ourselves we were going to try to do this. So that's their job is to because they've been closest to the story from the beginning, is to remind the group who by that point been discussing 8 other stories that there was something interesting at the core of the break that we need to try to execute because it was special at some point. Yeah.
Are there any specific musical performances that you enjoyed the most?
Well, I would say, yeah. I think recently, I think it was last week, Vincent Rodriguez had a song that was a send-up of a Jason Mraz type of song, and the song was called, I believe it's called Thought Bubbles.
I love Thought Bubbles.
It was written, it was spearheaded by one of our writers, Jack Dolgen, and then, again, that writing process is very collective with Adam Fleshinger and Rachel Bloom, and he just nailed it. It's one of those perfect numbers on the show where it fits in perfectly with the emotional point of the story, but you can also lift that bit, and it can live on the internet, and it makes it's funny on its own, and it's a perfect send up of the genre, and I think he killed it. And then Vinny just destroyed that number. He's literally sitting at a desk, and the camera's panning left and right, and he's filling that frame with really specific stuff. He did a great job. Yeah.
Since I'm working for Sci-Fi for Me, is there anything coming up that's sci-fi oriented?
I mean, if you watch the show, you know that a good portion of the show exists
Fantasy,
in Rachel's brain. So yeah, I mean anything is possible. So yes, the answer is get ready.
Possible,
Yes.
Yeah.